Alright guys, I'm back a little bit early from the cabin, so here I am sitting down to play some Simic Tempo. I got a comment on my most recent video, the elf deck from Thursday I believe it was, saying that this was, I think it was PBDD something media. You know, I don't know how many P's and B's and D's are all in there, but he said he liked this deck a lot, and there was another person who agreed with him, so I said when I got back, this is the deck that I would take out. Playing as a rank 3, somebody who begins with K. We can have a look at that later. Both playing 60 card piles here. Here we've got Gate into 2-drop plus a Harbor. We've got 2-2-drops, and we've got a Lynx and a Void Mage. So this is definitely playable. So the changes that I made to this deck list since the last time I played it were, I am now on the full 4 copies of Separatist Void Mage. This card is really good in this deck. I used to have 2 of these and 2 Claustrophobias, but now I'm up to 4 Void Mages and 0 Claustrophobia. So let's just play the Gate on turn 1. And I've also gone up to 4 Gates in the deck since there are no 1-drops. And it has, now with the Visionaries, it has a nice little bit of draw power, so we can generally hit all our drops on time. So I think that playing 4 tap lands in this deck, since it kind of just starts out slow, you know, you just build your board a little bit in the early game, and then you start disrupting theirs. But I always like to play a Troll over a Visionary first, but we're playing against Rakdos, so I may actually Visionary first rather than Troll. He's probably got a Reef Soul or something like that. I mean, should I play around that, or should I just make him have it? What should I do? I'm just gonna put, yeah, I'm gonna play the Troll because I mean, you know, if you can troll on 2, you want to troll on 2 because, I mean, that's the reason he's in the deck, is to get him renowned. So yeah, we'll troll on 2. He'll probably get Reef Soul since we got the shields down, but you know, we'll see what happens. See what our opponent does on 3. Probably going to be playing against the Steel Sacrifice deck. I mean, Visionary's not a fantastic 2-drop for this deck, but I mean, this deck doesn't really do a whole lot on turn 2, and it has enough at the 3, 4, and 5 mana spots that, you know, just having something that you can play later on in the game. So, you know, that's going to take a Flesh Bag. So, I mean, that's actually pretty good that our 2-drop 4-star opponent to Flesh Bag there. So, I mean, I'm fine with that. So we're just going to hold up the Krasis, since there's no real reason to Visionary here. You know, we've got another land, we've got some 4-drops. There's nothing to tap down with Frostling, so we'll just open Krasis, hold open Krasis, and then, you know, if he plays a creature, we'll tap it at end step and get in for 3. And then we can bounce it and make him replay it. So let's see what he does on 4 mana. He's just going to read the bones. So he's going to lose 2 life, and then we're going to flash in a 3/3 and take him to 15. So let's do this. So I think since he has nothing on the board, the play is probably going to be Elvish Visionary, and maybe we pick up a Gate and play it or something like that. But you know, we've got these Lynxes and Void Mages. We've got a Passage, but I generally don't like to show that if I don't have to. So let's swing, get in for 3, and then the Visionary. You know, one of the things that the Visionary does well is prevent, you know, the next Flesh Bag from hitting a priority target. So let's just Visionary before we play a land and see if we grab that Gate. You know, we may pick up a 2-drop and then we can Forest and play it. It is a Disperse, so yeah, we can Forest and hold up Disperse here. So now let's see what we're up against. So far we've seen Read the Bones and a Flesh Bag. This might not be the Steel Sacrifice deck. This might be like a control-ish type of deck, you know, with the Cruel Revivals, Grave Diggers, and maybe Ravaging Blaze to burn you out or something like that. We'll see. We'll see. I never did check his name after. It is that Kigo Delaney. We're looking at a Languish. So honestly, see, if we're playing against a control deck, I'm just going to Languish Disperse my own guy here. So, you know, his Languish got a Disperse and a Visionary, and the Visionary replaced itself. We got our Krasis back. So yeah. We'll just play a Gate and pass. And we'll keep the Krasis up again, and we can flash that in with haste. But yeah, with Languish, you know, this is definitely some style of control deck. But he's stuck on 4 mana. And he's got a Goblin Arsonist, which is really strange. But I guess he's playing the Bone Splinters, you know. So he needs some cheap creatures. He's definitely got the mirrors in there as well. Just as Bone Splinter fodder that can burn some other creatures on the way out. So let's see if he does anything else with that mana. He doesn't. So we're going to flash in that Krasis that we saved and tap down the Arsonist. And then we pick up Anchor to the Ether. So he's been missing his land drops. So here's the point where I'm honestly thinking just about anchoring that thing so he does not draw land. And just draws that again. And we get to scry 1. Let's just swing here and see if he has any tricks up his sleeve. Could have double Fiery Impulse or a twin bolt. Actually, he could have Spell Mastery Fiery Impulse at this point. I don't know how many instants and or sorceries he has in his graveyard. But he doesn't, so I'm actually going to put this back on top of his library just to scry. We want to bottom any land that we see. Just because we got 5 in play already, plus the 6th in hand. And it is a Whirler Rogue. We're definitely going to keep that on top. Play out the passage, and I mean, I could probably Lynx here. I could probably do that, but I don't think I'm going to. I mean, maybe I do that just to get another creature on the board. He has spent a language. That's possibly the correct play. It's just Lynx there and put 5 power on the board. So we'll see if that ends up biting me if we get him down to 2 and end up losing the game before we can kill him. But he just drew an Arsonist, so he's not going to draw that 5th land that he probably needs, and he's going to replay that. And then we can Void Mage it. Depends what we pick up, though. Actually, we got a Whirler Rogue on top. We already know that. And he's playing a Husk. Okay. So we're definitely going to bounce the Husk. I mean, there's no question there that the Husk is getting bounced. Yeah, the Husk is getting bounced. So this uses more of our mana. So let's bounce that up. He's taking his time here. He didn't know what Anchor did. He doesn't know what Separatist Void Mage did. I mean, these aren't commonly played cards. I guess that's why. So we can swing here, and you know, if he does block that 1 damage, it's just going to our face, which we don't mind. Not while we're on 20. But he is protecting his life total. And there we go. So yeah, you know, I'm not sure if I really should have played that Lynx last turn. You know, we've got unspent mana on the last couple of turns, which is kind of annoying. There's a gate, so he did pick up the land, but it was tapped. He probably just replays the Husk. No, he's going to Languish, so both of his Languishes are gone. He was lucky to draw them both, but now we've got the the Frost Links in our hand, and we've got a Whirler Rogue now that we can just drop on the board and rebuild. Now after 2 Languishes coming down with a Void Mage in hand, I think I'll definitely Lynx here for no value just to put power on the board. I think I definitely will. This is the time that I will do it. So both Languishes are gone. I don't see any way that he can get them back unless he mysteriously plays an island and plays a Possessed Scab. But I think those are gone for good. And he may have Chandra's Ignition in his deck, but for him to play a creature and then blast that's going to be pretty expensive, and we can keep his creatures off the battlefield temporarily. So I mean, we've got six power on the board now. He's on a 2-turn clock. He's got a Husk, we know that. Whoops. Just picked up my drink, and it's such a hot summer day that, you know, the sweat stuck to the wooden coaster, so try to avoid that next time. Now here's a Twin Bolt. It's going to take out the Thopters. That's going to take him out. Just fine. We're still on a 3-turn clock, and we can bounce up that Husk. But again, you know, what do we draw here? We'll see. It's another land, which is not the greatest. Definitely not the greatest thing in the world to draw. So we're just going to sandbag it. We're going to bounce this and get in for 4. But the Void Mage doesn't change the clock at all, unfortunately. But I mean, I guess with all this extra land, we can still cast a 4-mana spell next turn and activate the Rogue's Passage. So there's that. Alright. He's on 8. We got 6 power. Both his Languishes are gone. Is he going to Priest of the Bloodright or something? I mean, I think the Rogue's Passage is going to help us out a nice bit. We need to start drawing some cards. I mean, that's why we got the Visionaries in here. That's why we got Jesse and Thief. We are flooding out to a minor degree. I mean, we've picked up 8 out of 17. Just slightly less than 50%, and we're running 40. So I mean, it's within reasonable variance, that's for sure. But with only 1 card in our hand that's a land, you know, we really Don't want him to make a power play here. Definitely don't want that to happen. So let's see. We know he's got the husk, but a naked husk, I'll swing into that with my 2/2s all day long. Definitely will swing into that. If he puts another creature alongside it, that's when it gets problematic. But there's a lot of bounce in our deck. So yeah, there's the husk. We kind of knew that was coming. But let's see if he can put a Perilous Mirror alongside it. Because if he does, that's a pretty big... I don't know if it's a pretty big blowout, but if we can spend 5 mana, he's going to put an Infernal Fist on it. That does not change my opinion at all, since he doesn't have the 1 red mana open. So I will definitely trade here. I'll be swinging for 6. No questions asked. We pick up Harbinger of the Tide, so Flash is awesome. Flash is really awesome. It's too bad this says an opponent controls to its owner's hand, because you can tap your own guys, then flash in. So he's taking them all. He's taking all the damage. Alright, he's going to 2. Alright, so God only knows what he's got in his hand, but if he taps out in any way, we've got the 2 power flash at the end of the turn and a Rogue's Passage to get through, so. He could have Chandra's Ignition. That could be his plan. That could definitely be his plan. To ignite the board here. But I think Harbinger will still get him. Unless he has a Twin Bolt. We can just flash this in, make it unblockable, hit him for 2. Could he have life gain? I mean, I suppose he could have Battle Gnomes or something. He's going to Traitorous Instinct. Alright. So we're looking at 8 right now. I mean, he's going to sack it after the fact. Is he going to be able to kill us? He's only got 2 cards and 3 mana. I don't think we're going to die. So, I mean, we're looking at 10 there now because of the Infernal Fist, but that'll cost him 1 mana. So then he's only got 2 to play with. Why would you Infernal Fist right now? Why not swing first? Like, I don't get it. That doesn't make any sense, Deal your 4 damage first, swing, deal 8. Anyway. Yeah, he's not swinging with the husk at all. He sees a Rogue's Passage that I have there. I mean, I could flash, I could flash this in right now. But I don't want to show it to him. I want to wait till his end step. He could have some kind of sorcery speed nonsense. So he's going to sack it. Yeah, but we got 2 guys. So we'll just flash it in. And let's see if he's got the Twin Bolt. Well, now he's going to need more than that, because we're going to play Bounding Crisis here and tap down his blocker. So he's going to need to kill both of our dudes now. So you could have double Fiery Impulse. You could definitely have that. Alright, so we got there. It's a little bit tricksy. There were 2 Languishers, but this deck doesn't really, it's not really afraid of Languish too much, because it just chips away. You don't play to the board until your opponent's board goes wider, and you keep their board so small that you don't need to play them out too much. So I just finished a homebrew quest. Sweet. I've got another quest too. I'm finally starting to go. I think I re-rolled about 10 archetypal quests in a row and got archetypal quests to replace them. I refuse to do them. I won't do them. So I like quests that I can, just get during the natural course of gameplay. I don't mind quests that force you into a different line or style. If those archetypal quests didn't, make you use that fucking deck wizard, I'd be all over them. I would build decks in certain color combinations just to complete those quests. I would play that. But that stupid deck wizard, no, I'm not going to do it. It's not going to happen. So I just keep re-rolling those. I don't give a fuck about the gold. I really don't. Bought the game. There's that coaster again. I'm going to put that away because I'm never going to remember that. I'm just going to lay it here and ruin the finish on this nice $50 console table, which I really don't care about. So yeah, I mean, if I ruin the finish, I'm definitely not going to spend the money on another one. This thing is here for me to lay my drink, my microphone, and my mouse on. That's its purpose. The finish, that's just cosmetic. And in the man cave, that's the only place in the house where I can get away with ruining the finish on a table and not hearing anything about it. So playing against Homeless Jace this time, rank 2, 8350 velocity. And it is a 60 card mirror. We have no land, so we have to mulligan that. Here we have only one blue source, which could be a little bit of trouble. But we're on the play with Troll into Krasis. Pair Disperse, I'm not too keen on. But I think Troll into Krasis is good enough. We can tap it pre-combat to Renown, or we can flash it in as removal, depending on what we're up against. And it is the red deck. So yeah, it's turn 1 Goblin Arsonist. And there is our Outland Colossus. 6/6 cannot be blocked by more than one creature, which is pretty sick for 5 mana, and Renown 6. Really, I haven't won many games with this guy. I haven't got to play him all that often in this deck. Not sure he's necessary, but we're playing a Rogue's Passage, and we're playing a lot of tap and a lot of bounce. So it's not the hardest thing in the world to get that guy through. Just haven't needed it. So we picked up another Krasis. This is really, really good. So we can swing here, and he can just trade an Arsonist with it, and we can tap 3 mana to get rid of an Arsonist. But I think that's not what we want to do. I think what we want to do is just wait. We've got our Krasis here. But he's playing Boros. He's playing Boros. I mean, he could just sack his Ember Hauler. If he does that, that's fine. I'll take that. I'll take that all day long. 2-drop for 2-drop. And he had to spend an extra mana, so 3-drop for 2-drop essentially. So yeah, he's just going to go after the Troll. I'm okay with that. I'm not going to bounce it and try to save it. That's cool. So let's see. Does he swing here? Yeah, he's coming in. He doesn't realize we got 3 power haste, so we're going to be coming right back at him. Yeah, and he didn't make a play, so here we go, 3/3. And do we pick up a land? We don't. So we got a 5 and 6 drop in hand, and we missed land drop number 4. Not that great, but what are you going to do? So let's get it on for 3. We've got another Krasis open. We'll probably... I'll definitely use that. Like, if he puts an aura on it, I'll just tap it down. And we'll bounce it later on. Right now we want to build the board a little bit. So, 4 mana, only 1 white source. It's an Infernal Fist, which he can sacrifice for 2 damage. I definitely don't want to trade with the Arsonist Fist. So let's see if he puts anything else on it. I mean, I'm going to let him swing. I don't mind the 3 damage right now if he wants to. Yeah, he wants to swing. Good for him. Good for him. If he plays the second main creature, I'm going to want to tap that. So, taking 3. Does he play anything second main? No, he's just gonna throw 2 at our face. I don't understand these people, misplaying Infernal Fist. At least in my opinion, misplaying it. So yeah, okay, he's not gonna sack it after all. So we're gonna flash in another Krasis. This card's sick. Don't need to tap or untap anything. Since we're gonna untap anyway, and he's tapped. Alright, so there's our land, and it is the blue source that we needed. So we got double disperse up now. And we are winning the race. And we can keep his blockers back with the disperses and keep swinging at him for 6. So I think we're in decent shape. See what he does. Let's see what he does. I'd like him to try to put another aura on it. That'd be fucking sweet. That'd be Value City. He'd still get potentially sack his Infernal Fist and deal 2 damage to us, but I wouldn't care about that at all. Would not bother me. 5 mana. Still only 1 white source. I wonder how many double white cards he has in his hand that he's bitching about right now. Been there. That's an Ember Hauler. Alright, so he can sack that for 2 damage. And he can Infernal Fist. So, I mean, if he sacks an Ember Hauler and an Infernal Fist to try to kill one of my 3/3s, I'll just bounce it. I'll just bounce my own 3/3. So let's see if he goes down that road. He's definitely got some grand plan. Where's he throwing the 2? Alright, we'll let that resolve. Yeah, we got Krasis down to 1. And first of all, why aren't you attacking me? I'm tapped out. I mean, I know I've got mana open. But get in for your 3 before you sack that fist, buddy. Man, oh man. Take your time. So this is a twin bolt. Okay. Still going to do this. And since he's tapped out, I'm going to bounce this. So now his Infernal Fist is gone. He doesn't have the mana for it. He's got an Arsonist in his hand. So we're in good shape. And I think this is a pretty easy Colossus turn. The only question is he playing Treason Effects? That's the real question here. Because this is going to tap me out. So if he's playing Traitorous Instinct, that could, you know, we're at 15. If he plays Traitorous, we get hit for 8. Excuse me, and he passes us back a Renowned Colossus, so still something to be wary of. You know, we can keep the Krasis in hand. Oh, he's got Reprisal. Okay. That's why he's playing the white. I still think that was a Colossus turn. Through and through. He's down to 1 card now. He's got the Arsonist in play, 1 card in hand. And he's passing. 6 mana. So this is a Bellower Fetch Krasis Tap his Dude turn. This is why Bellower is in the deck. It's why it's in my elf deck. Because of these multicolored 3-drops that you can fetch. Really, really good. I mean, for 6 mana, we get a 6/5, we get a 3/3, and we get to tap a dude. That's a big bargain for 6 mana right there. So, and we only drawn 2 Krasis, whatever. So yeah, we got 12 power on the board now. Gonna be tough for him to win this one. He's got the Reprisal, but he's out of cards. He thinks he's going to survive, but we're going to play the 3rd Krasis, tap down his Arsonist, swing for 6, game over. So yeah, let's just tap him down, win the game. Tap him down. Yeah, so I mean, this deck is really, really fun. It's really good. I know I just beat a rank 5 and a rank 3, but you know, with all the tapping and the bouncing, you pretty much have a handle on most opposing creature strategies. And against control decks, you have some haste with the flash, and you can bounce your own guys with the disperse if they don't, you know, because they don't play creatures of their own. So I mean, this deck has got it's got some good matchups all across the board. I don't know, you know, it's not top tier or anything, but it's a very, very strong deck. You can check the description box for an updated deck list. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back with some more gameplay for you tomorrow.